The late Senator John McCain's son, Jimmy McCain, is now speaking out for the first time, and he's got some harsh words for Donald Trump. Wait until you see what he told CNN in an exclusive interview. Donald Trump and his allies continue to make excuses for what transpired at Arlington National Cemetery last week. If you recall, Trump held an event there to honor the 13 fallen soldiers at Abbey Gate, Afghanistan during the withdrawal. But he tried to film it to make a promotional video as a political stunt for TikTok or Twitter or whatever. And a staffer at Arlington National Cemetery was so upset by what they were doing that she got into a physical altercation with Trump's staff. The Army put out a rare statement and said the following, just to recap exactly what happened. Participants in the August 26 ceremony and the subsequent Section 60 visit were made aware of federal laws, Army regulations, and DoD policies, which clearly prohibit political activities on cemetery grounds. An ANC employee who attempted to ensure adherence to these rules was abruptly pushed aside. Consistent with the decorum expected at ANC, this employee acted with professionalism and avoided further disruption. The incident was reported to the JBM-HH Police Department, but the employee subsequently decided not to press charges. Therefore, the Army considers this matter closed. So what the Army isn't saying here is that this was a middle-aged woman that was physically assaulted by Trump's staff. And she chose not to press charges, not because she didn't think she had a case, but she was concerned about being harassed by her name being exposed by Trump or his supporters, and she's not wrong about that. She would have to look over her shoulder for the rest of her life if she followed through with this police report and pressed charges. Now, obviously, Trump is still thinking about this because he decided to post on Truth Social and cry about it some more. Trump posted the following. There was no conflict or fighting at Arlington National Cemetery last week. It was a made-up story by Comrade Kamala and her misinformation squad. She made it all up to make up for the fact that she and Sleepy Joe have blood on their hands for the incompetent Afghanistan withdrawal. The most embarrassing day in U.S. history. They should have been at Arlington, not on a beach or studying for a debate. So Donald Trump created this event out of thin air, and his goal was to attend it and then say that Biden and Kamala skipped it and they are dishonorable for doing so. But he made up the event, so they didn't skip anything because they didn't even know about it. Thank you to my friends, the great Gold Star families, for revealing the truth of a beautiful day of honor. Could not have been a nicer moment, and there were no fights or problems, only in the heads of those that are destroying our country. MAGA 2024. So again, there was a middle-aged woman who was so distraught about Trump's team not following the rules that she clearly spelled out for them that she had to physically try to stop them, and then they pushed her aside. Trump's campaign last week said they had video evidence to prove they were in the right at Arlington National Cemetery and that they would release it soon. But yet we haven't seen the video. So something leads me to believe that that video doesn't exist, or it doesn't portray things the way the Trump campaign has been saying it went down. This story clearly is resonating with a lot of people. And now individuals are starting to get off the sidelines and say enough is enough. And that includes some pretty big names, like the late Senator John McCain's son, Jimmy McCain, who has a 17-year career in the military. He is now speaking out for the first time in an exclusive interview with CNN. You could see the headline right here. John McCain's son decries Trump appearance at Arlington as a violation that turned cemetery into campaign backdrop. Those are some pretty strong words right there from the McCain family. The article continues and says the youngest son of the late Senator John McCain had already been moving away from the Republican Party. Just weeks ago, he changed his voter registration to Democrat and plans to vote for Kamala Harris in November. He told CNN in an exclusive interview this week. This is another high-profile Republican moving away from that party and joining the Democrats to vote for Kamala Harris. I tell you, this coalition is just getting bigger and bigger as we get closer to the November election. But he is speaking out now for the first time about Trump because of the former president's conduct at the hallowed ground where several generations of McCain's family, including his grandfather and great-grandfather, are buried. It just blows me away, McCain, who has served in the military for 17 years, told CNN. These men and women that are laying in the ground there have no choice of whether to be a backdrop for a political campaign. I just think that for anyone who's done a lot of time in their uniform, they just understand that inherently that it's not about you there. It's about these people who gave the ultimate sacrifice in the name of their country. I can only imagine how outraged people who have served in the military are about Trump's political stunt. And it doesn't seem like this story is going away anytime soon. The article continues, after years as a registered independent, he says he registered as a Democrat several weeks ago and plans to vote for Kamala Harris in November, adding that he would get involved in any way I could to help her campaign. Now, Jimmy McCain has not spoken out, even though Trump has insulted his late father many, many times, but he talks about why he's choosing to do so now. Listen to this. For the younger McCain, though, the Arlington episode and how the campaign has reacted to it represents a whole new level of what he perceives as Trump's disrespect for the fallen, and he believes it stems from Trump's own insecurities about not having served. Many of these men and women who served their country chose to do something greater than themselves. They woke up one morning, they signed on the dotted line, they put their right hand up, and they chose to serve their country. And that's an experience that Donald Trump has not had. And I think that might be something that he thinks about a lot. Yeah, I think that Jimmy McCain is hitting the nail on the head. Donald Trump cannot stand that these people are more respected than him, and so he tries to denigrate them any opportunity he gets. Jimmy McCain made one last point to CNN about why this was so important to him right now. McCain's anger over the Arlington episode was also particularly acute because when it happened, he had just returned from a 7th-month deployment to a small U.S. base on the Jordan-Syria border known as Tower 22. He arrived there just weeks after 3 U.S. service members were killed on the base in a drone attack by Iran-backed militants, and he says he thought of them when he saw Trump posing last Monday in front of gravestones. It was a violation, McCain said. That mother, that sister, those families see that, and it's a painful experience. It's sad that Trump had to do something so despicable to get people like Jimmy McCain off the sidelines, but I'm happy to see him speaking up, and I hope many, many others join our coalition in getting Kamala Harris elected and making sure that Donald Trump doesn't get anywhere near the White House once again. And I don't think this is the last bad thing that Donald Trump's going to do between now and November 5th. Donald Trump has a habit of putting his foot in his mouth and coming up with ridiculous stunts that just blow up in his face. So keep an eye out because I don't think this is as low as it goes.